the genre that it can be considered both dependent on the technology and to have facilitated its advancements. Undoubtedly, CGI has allowed for the cinematic realization of fantastical comic book settings, including Black Panther's Wakanda and the numerous intergalactic worlds of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel, the Fantastic Four, and Doctor Strange. Digital imagery has also made it possible for superhero characters to perform physically impossible feats with greater realism, enhancing the visual spectacle of Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man, Superman, and Wonder Woman's daring do. Another explanation for the growth of superhero films involves the financial position in which Marvel found itself in the late 1990s. In that decade, revenues from comics and trading cards began to collapse, and a series of bursting financial bubbles and questionable business deals saw Marvel's stock plummet from $35.75 a share in 1993 to a mere $2.37.5 just 3 years later. Facing considerable debt, Marvel more aggressively turned its attention to the cinematic licensing of its characters, finding some initial success with Blade and the Spider-Man and X-Men movies. Yet the returns on these box office hits were slim. Marvel only earned $25,000 for the adaptation rights for Blade, even though the film grossed nearly $70 million at the box office. The company had only negotiated a small flat fee from Fox for X-Men, which also ended up being a hit. And even though the first two Spider-Man movies raked in $3 billion through box office, DVD, and broadcast sales, Marvel only saw $62 million, or 2% of the revenue. Avi Arad, head of Marvel Films at the time, lamented that we were giving away the best part of our business. Licensing its characters to other studios also meant that Marvel had little to no control over the quality associated with its brand, something that had plagued the company since the 1980s. While Captain America had graced American movie screens in 1944, it would take until 1986's Howard the Duck for another major movie to feature a Marvel property. Although George Lucas produced that film on a budget of $35 million, and it enjoyed heavy promotion, the film was a box office flop, bringing in only $16 million in ticket sales. Other ill-fated attempts included The Punisher and Man-Thing, and, most famously, when Roger Corman was licensed to produce The Fantastic Four in 1994, Arad bought back the rights and reportedly destroyed every print of the film because he deemed it too embarrassing to the Marvel brand to ever be released to the public. In order to maximize its profits and have tighter quality control then, Marvel, which had filed for bankruptcy in 1996 to restructure its holdings, took out a loan of $525 million to open its own film studio in 2005, and named Kevin Feige as its president just 2 years later. The development of Marvel Studios was considered risky, since Fox already owned the adaptation rights to X-Men, and Sony possessed the rights to Spider-Man, the company's two major franchises at the time. It was not clear, in other words, if Marvel Studios would be able to find financial success with cinematic versions of its lesser-known properties, such as Thor, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, and others. In retrospect, these concerns are amusing, given the profits that its movie slate has generated, and the fact that just 1 year after launching the MCU, the Walt Disney Company purchased Marvel Entertainment for a whopping $4 billion, signaling a remarkable turnaround for a company that had filed for Chapter 11 just 12 years earlier. Thus, Marvel's attempts to recover from the comic book industry's financial crisis of the 1990s through movies partly explains why the genre has proliferated in the 2000s. Today, by leveraging the resources of Disney and its holdings, Marvel has gone on to create a powerful and prolific transmedia franchise that spans far beyond its comics, as evidenced by its television series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, as well as its DVD one-shots and video games released primarily for PlayStation through Marvel Games.